Okay. Welcome back to the podcast.
Hey guys.
If your first time here, welcome to the podcast.
Hey guys, what's going on? I guess this is real. I guess we're doing this multiple times.
Yep.
Well, we have a YouTube channel now. That's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
We have the SoundCloud,
That's true.
which I don't know. The SoundCloud's a little harder to do. The SoundCloud takes more work. YouTube has managed to make it super easy to upload, which is either a good or a bad thing. But I mean, I did it. So,
I mean, we got a video. We're on the map.
listen, we got a video that no one can hear, which I apologize, by the way. That is my fault.
Just so you know, he does all the editing, so all of those problems are his fault.
Yeah, and if you don't like the artwork, that is not my problem. I mean, that you did the artwork.
The artwork that we are adding in this video.
Yeah, if you look, you'll see Lucas. You can tell by his blue glasses and blue face and blue... Yeah, and you can look at me and you can say, who's that guy? Because he doesn't look like anybody, really.
It's true. I'm not a good artist. I'm not an artist.
Listen, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying it doesn't look like me. Like,
I'm just saying I'm not Bob Ross, okay? I'm not good at art. Anyway, let's just get into it.
Okay. How you doing today?
School was rough.
There was?
It was.
What's up today?
Everyone was sick. It was weird. It was
Yeah,
bizarre.
Especially when you got like 8 kids in your class.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
You're down to 4 or
Okay,
whatever.
yeah, we had 11 first of all, and we're down to like 5.
Well, it's because everyone's leaving. Spring break's this week.
It's true. You're leaving,
Yeah.
2 days from now.
That's why we're recording this early, so I can get out of here on
Mark the day.
Thursday.
Oh no, it's gonna ruin the illusion.
What?
The
Well,
illusion that we
Listen,
record
if we
these on
had...
Saturday.
Oh, well, we're not, guys. Sorry. Sorry, but I don't care, so...
Okay, well you
Oh,
didn't have to go that far.
Hey, listen, if a certain person's watching, hey, guys, hey, how's it going? But, yeah, there's about, like, one school person watching, and the rest of you guys are just like me, clicking over this video a couple more times, so... Yeah. I think that, school is just... It's closing down, man. We're almost done.
Yeah, okay.
Like, with the year, with spring break, everything.
I'm almost done. I have a year left. You're not almost done.
You realize that next year you'll be a senior?
Yes, I do realize that.
I mean, like, that's got to be a big deal, right?
Yeah, kinda. I mean, it's not the biggest deal, but it is a pretty big deal.
I mean, I saw you on that, what was it, the college scouting website or whatever?
Yes, I was on a college scouting website.
So how does that work? You just put in your information, you look?
Yeah, you just kind of put in what you're interested in, and it'll give you colleges that might want you.
Hmm. Well,
It found me a college in Ohio.
Like an interesting college in Ohio, or just...
Yeah, an interesting college in Ohio. It's 13 hours away, so I don't know how I feel about it. But...
See, I don't know how I feel about, like, people leaving, but I also know that, like, when I go somewhere, I have a very specific place I want to go to. I want to go to California, and that's going to be it.
I found... It did recommend me one in California. It was in Sacramento. I don't know if that's anywhere close to where you're going to college, but...
Sacramento. I mean, as long as it's not in the heart of LA, right? Because that's too expensive.
No one wants to go to the heart of LA.
Well, I mean, I'd like to work there and do business
the
there.
traffic, dog.
See, because Drexel was talking, and he was saying how, like, wouldn't it be cool to do this as a living, like record podcasts?
Oh yeah, this would be super cool to do as a living, but is that what we want to do as a living? That is the question.
Well, that depends. Will I know you in like the next two months? Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I think that California school would be cool, and that's where I want to go to do all this stuff, writing and whatever. But YouTubers have it great. I mean, if you can really make money off it, you can do podcasts. I mean, we were talking about a lot of that last time, and I don't know. I don't want to dwell on the same stuff every time, but we were talking about going to see Captain Marvel, and now it's the future. We have seen
Captain Marvel. It's been 2 days, 2 or 3 days.
Yeah. Do we want to jump into that right now, or do we want to?
Yeah, let's just get into that. Let's get that out of the way.
All right.
Thoughts on Captain Marvel? You go first.
Listen, I thought it as a movie, pretty good, because Marvel has cracked this formula that they know how to make teenage movies. Like a lot of it is for teenagers. I mean, they try to make a general audience, but I mean a lot of the stuff. But I think that it was an okay Marvel movie. I mean, it didn't hold up to maybe everything that we've seen before, but I think it's a good placeholder right before Endgame, and we needed it before Endgame. It has a lot of the information that we need, and quite frankly, I mean, she's a powerhouse, Captain Marvel, so she's going to help all these Avengers do what they need to do. I mean, she's probably one of the most powerful ones, right?
I don't know.
I mean, if Star-Lord still had all his powers, he could probably like kick butt. But
Star-Lord?
yeah, didn't he have all those god powers?
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. I think she will be the most interesting one. Oh, and Star-Lord's gone anyway. Rest in peace. But yep. That's what I mean. That's really what I kind of think about it. I don't think that like there's not one scene that really stands out. I think the writing on this movie went from 0 to 100 in like a scene. Like you watch about a quarter of this movie, and then you're kind of like, all right, I'm into this. Like I'm sitting back, I'm eating my popcorn, drinking my icy. Like I'm looking at it, it's all right. But like around the quarter mark of the movie, like they start throwing out some jokes that just were hilarious. Like they made me laugh. That's kind of hard to do. Well, it's pretty easy. But anyway, what do you think?
I really liked it. I thought the writing was pretty good. I honestly, my favorite part about it though was spoilers. By the way,
Wait.
Oh,
hold
wait.
on. If we're gonna get into spoilers, well, I guess it doesn't matter because no one listens. But like, hey man, people might listen. So, if we're rich and famous and you don't want spoilers for Captain Marvel, just turn it off. Turn the whole podcast. Don't listen anymore. Just turn it off. I'm sorry. Anyway, keep going.
I thought it was a really interesting move for them to make the Skrulls the good people in this movie because that has never been done before, as far as I know. And I thought that was really interesting just because the Skrulls are notorious for being awful, but in this movie they were like just normal, regular people.
I guess, I mean, I don't know. Like, I know the comics for a bunch of this stuff, but I don't know in depth about certain things.
Well, I'm no expert, but I mean...
I know those, like, the creatures are bad and everything. Yeah. But I thought that in the movie, they were going to pull a double twist where they're evil again.
Yeah, I definitely thought they were going to do that because that's what Skrulls are known for, is for being, like, you know, backstabbers like that. But nope, it just didn't happen.
Or I thought they were going to do something that wasn't even related to comics where we find out that Captain Marvel is a Skrull.
I did not think that for a single second, but that is definitely
because
an interesting idea.
The woman she was with was a Skrull, and all these memories had to do with a Skrull.
No. She was Kree.
The pilot, the co-pilot. That's what I'm saying. I'm talking about the co-pilot.
Co-pilot was human.
But that's what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the co-pilot. I mean, other than that, any other thoughts?
Good movie. Go watch it. It's great.
I mean, by the time people actually listen to this, they will probably have made the sequel to Captain Marvel.
That's a sad statement to think about for more than 2 seconds.
I mean, do you think that there will be a Captain Marvel sequel?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Okay, let me ask you this. So if we have a Captain Marvel sequel, will it take place still before Endgame? Like she comes back? Because I was watching a review and they were like, I'd love to see something where she comes back early 2000s and she has to deal with the Y2K movement instead of whatever else.
I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like they'd just pick another hero to do the Y2K movement, quote unquote.
All I'm waiting for is stuff like Black Lightning. Well, you know all the stuff about Black Lightning, how it's basically like a Black Lives Matter show?
Yeah.
Can you imagine if we saw that like on the big screen? I feel like that's why they don't do that stuff on the big screen. Like you don't see all this like racial tension stuff.
That's true, but I mean, you do see it, just not in your normal Marvel film.
I guess Marvel films just have to appease everybody.
Yeah, they do. It's true, but
because I mean,
they're such a big platform. They really, if they don't, then they'll lose a lot of viewership.
Yeah, I mean, I'm doing an interview right now for my newspaper class because I am the advertising editor and news editor for the newspaper, and like everybody I've asked, like somebody I asked said that like it didn't matter that like Marvel has saturated the market so much and they just want to keep seeing more and more Marvel movies. And then Drexel said, hey, I think that like it's cool, but maybe they do need to take a break just so we could see more stuff. And I don't know, how do you feel about that?
I think they do definitely need to tone it down a bit, because if they keep going making these movies at the rate they do, I feel like we're all going to get tired of them, and that's not going to be fun for anybody.
I mean, that's how I kind of already feel about some Marvel movies. I mean, I'm excited. I think Captain Marvel definitely made me more excited for Endgame, but...
Yeah, but, like, should a movie just do that? Like, glorified advertisement?
I mean, that's how I feel about these Marvel movies. That's why I didn't see, Ant-Man and the Wasp, because I just feel like sure, they're going to tie in some connections, but they kind of have to. That's kind of how you make a good movie. And Marvel knows how to make a good movie, but maybe they don't know when to just, like, pause for a second and say, hey, let this sit for a minute. We'll come up with, like, an even better plot than we were going to make. And then let them see that.
Yeah, that's true, but I don't know. If it works and people still want to see the movies, then I can't really tell them. I can't really give a good reason why they should stop, but...
I mean, money's money, and I guess if they want to make money, because the problem with them taking a break is that what if when they come back, people aren't interested because they haven't seen one?
That's
just
a good point.
It's just keeping the market
Although
interested.
my counter argument to that would be Incredibles 2, because that came out like way after the first one, and people were still interested in what was going to happen.
Well, that was one of my other questions. Was I said, if Disney is buying all these properties, and I didn't get to this question because it wasn't part of the story, but if Disney's making all these properties, right, and they're buying them like Marvel and Star Wars, of course, and all these different brands. They have the Disney princesses are their own lines plus their other movies. Like a completely unique Disney movie. Like the only one I can think of right now is Big Hero 6. That's not tying into any other kind of brand like Pixar.
It has a manga.
Well, okay, then I stand corrected. But I just saying that. I don't know. I think that we've only seen Disney do well with stuff that they've acquired. I don't know when the last time we've seen a completely original Disney movie, right? Unless it's like one of those princess ones.
No, that's a good point.
I mean, I don't know. Disney's a machine. You can't really think of it as anything but that, because you never see them just try new things. You see them do what makes them money. And I think that if it works for them, sure, but I just don't know how I feel about Disney owning all these different properties and using them the way they do. And that was one of the questions. As I said, if Disney's going to continue to own all these properties, like, do we trust that, or do we want companies to stay independent?
Well, I don't know. I feel like there's definitely a lack of creativity in the big, once Disney has something, it's about money. It's not really about artistic creativity or freedom, which is a problem, to say the least. But
I mean, don't you, like, when you're watching movies that are owned by Disney, or even if, like, you didn't even know it was Disney, do you see those kind of trends or facts? Like, do you see, oh, Disney does this, and I see it in multiple movies? Because either you do, and you're realizing what Disney does through their different movies. Like, if they pull some kind of trick in Marvel, a movie that they do in Star Wars, or some kind of emotional pull. Like, if you see it in both, you're like, oh, Disney does this. And then maybe it's like, oh, they have a formula to make money, to make you feel certain ways.
Well, yeah, definitely. I feel like that's evident in a lot of things. I mean, that's just, like, writing has a lot of cliches, but, I mean, as far as, like, seeing the exact same motifs and ideas in films of different franchises owned by Disney, I have not seen that yet, but I feel like it is inevitable that it will happen.
I mean that's kind of the fear, right? So, I mean, besides Disney, I mean, Disney's a home name. I feel like as you grow up, you're just gonna hear like Disney's gonna become a part of your life.
Dude, it already is. Like,
for like all these kids,
look around at all of like your childhood TV shows and think about how many of them are Disney shows,
or how many of them are Disney now because of buying and everything that they do. I mean, what do you think about the Disney streaming service? Because we were talking about streaming services last time.
To be honest, it doesn't, like, it'll be interesting, but I feel like in a perfect world, we wouldn't have a lot of different streaming services like it's going right now, with CW making theirs and Disney making their own.
I want to watch that. I want to watch the Teen Titans show. That's going to be interesting.
But, I mean, just in general, I feel like with all of these different streaming services, it's going to get kind of saturated, to say the least.
I mean, probably. You're probably right.
I mean, because then I feel like there's going to be a point where people are going to have to pick and choose which channels they're going to watch, and then kind of weigh that against other things that they're going to do. I mean it's we're definitely in the era of the death of TV, for sure.
I mean, I think if you look at statistics, you'll just find that TV shows have been down less and less. People are cutting their bill cutting their cable every year, more and more people. And I think that is actually a plus for Disney then, because if they own all these properties, then maybe they can put them all in one service, and you can just click it and go through, and there it is. It's kind of like how Netflix makes all their shows. So if you go to Netflix, you know that Netflix makes all these shows. Mm-hmm. So maybe that's my own counter-argument then, is because I'm saying, well, you know, Disney owns all these things, and you may see the same motifs, but I guess it's the same for Netflix shows, and Netflix does well. Especially like these like superhero shows that Netflix makes, right?
I mean, I would argue that, though, because all the Marvel shows Netflix made were, you know, a little similar, but they all have their own, like, it was kind of like the same show, but, like, each one had its own little quirk or gimmick that made it different, which would be the superhero themselves. But I would say Umbrella Academy is a superhero show, but it is vastly different from any other show superhero show on Netflix.
Yeah. I mean, next podcast that we record, by the way, guys, will be in Hawaii, and so I'm gonna be there.
One half of this cast will be in Hawaii.
Lucas, I have a surprise. I didn't want to say it. Lucas, I have a surprise.
What is your surprise, Jackson?
Look at that bag right there. You see that bag?
Yeah.
That's your bag. Nah, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. That's my bag. You're not going to Hawaii.
Yeah, I was never gonna go. I was gonna say no. Anyway.
That's kind of okay. Well, I was joking.
I have to go to Hawaii to build houses. Wow.
Mexico. You're going back to Mexico?
Yeah.
We go all the time.
I go once a year for spring break.
Is it always every spring break?
Yeah.
Is your brother going this time?
No.
So it's just gonna be you alone?
Yeah, me.
I mean,
by myself.
You and 30
other church.
You and 30 other church people that are building houses.
Yes.
Didn't you smuggle a kid across the border one time? Can I say that?
Legally, I'm gonna say no.
We don't have to bring up names, but did you or did you not smuggle a kid across the Mexican-American border?
I have to legally say no. I have no idea what you're talking about.
Legally, but if you're winking, I mean, I can tell. I mean, okay, well, that's a no. I mean, a wink. Okay, that's a no. Yo, Schindler's List is on Netflix. I'm looking at Netflix right now, speaking of. You know that? Schindler's List?
I
Netflix?
don't know what that is.
Well, that's not important. I don't want to depress you any more than you already are on a day-to-day basis. But, yeah, we were talking about Netflix stuff. I mean, I don't know, there's a lot of weird stuff on Netflix, right? Because there's like, Netflix has made some great shows and they know how to market them, but then they just make so much that you don't see half the stuff.
That's true. I kind of hope that Netflix will have more indie films in the future.
Yeah. I mean, didn't they just make they just made like groundbreaking stuff with the fact that they made a live action anime, right? Or is it the first, or did I make that up?
Live action anime. There's a lot of them. They're gonna have to be more specific.
I mean, okay, so it's not like the first, but
I know.
There was like a big deal about a live action anime coming out, right?
Full Metal Alchemist was on. It's on Netflix. Both the original Brotherhood and the live action movie are all on Netflix, but I don't know. The live action didn't do very well, and they normally don't.
Why is that, you think?
I think it's because the audience is targeted towards just doesn't like the live action feel
of these kind of movies.
Like they feel like it's not the way the writer or artist intended it to look.
Well, you'd think is because it was like not all these different like cool scenes of like, oh, it's like a cartoon.
Well, I mean,
pardon my French, but you get all these different sequences and stuff, right?
Yeah, I think that is true, that the anime is definitely intended to look the way it does, very intentionally. And I feel like taking it into a live action setting can ruin it sometimes, not always. I'm not going to say all of them are bad, but are you talking about
because you haven't seen all of them.
Now that I think about it, were you talking about Death Note, that live action movie?
Maybe. I feel like one just came out, but I mean, I don't watch that stuff.
I mean,
but the reason I bring that up is because, well, one of the reasons is we were talking about stuff that's live action. So like, look what I'm showing you right now. I'm showing you a virtual reality simulation of Yu-Gi-Oh! And apparently they're going to make this, and it's going to be for the Oculus Rift, HTC Vive, and Windows VR headsets. And it's going to be on Steam, and you download it, and it's just like all of these Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel simulators, but you are like one of the characters from the show, or any character, and all of your dueling is in VR. So you like look at your wrist as you're holding the headset, and you see your duel disc, and you draw with your other hand, and you do all that stuff.
That sounds amazing.
I mean,
when is this coming out?
I mean, the news about it just came out yesterday, so let me look here. Let's see. I don't even think it has a date yet. I think it's just, like, these pictures leaked. Like, this one that I'm showing you, it's just a girl, and she's on one side of the arena, and I think it's a Yugi Moto, like, figure on the other side, and they're just like dueling each other, and it's kind of cool.
Yeah, that looks awesome.
So,
you
hear that?
Can't wait for that.
You hear that noise?
No, no idea what you're talking about.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's be quiet for a second. Let's just see what happens. Yeah, I mean, it's picking up a little bit, but whatever.
It's not like it's the end of the world.
There's a blender going on downstairs, but whatever. That's fine. My dad doesn't understand how cool it is to be on a podcast, I guess. Well, yeah. How you doing, Lucas?
I don't know.
It's dead air, dude. Dead air. It's dead air. Okay, we talked about Captain Marvel. We talked about Netflix and stuff. Yeah, we were talking about live action and how, like, it can ruin things, I guess. And do you think live action is the only reason that animes fail, or is it because it's bad writing?
No. I'd say a lot of those anime motifs don't translate well into live action. Like, they make faces, and those faces do not translate well to live action at all.
Like the creature from Death Note, right?
No, he was actually adapted really well. I'm talking like, have you ever heard of anime shorthand?
No, but I can Google it right now. Hold on.
Like
anime shorthand.
It's
Google search.
It's
hey, by the way, guys, happy birthday to the World Wide Web. It's their 30th birthday. Anyway, keep going.
Yeah, but it's the faces that they make, and they're like over dramatic, it's like that kind of thing.
Like that? Are you talking about like when an anime character like it gets zoomed in on and like they have that face like of
No,
intensity?
I'm talking like over the top reactions, like when their face gets really big and they go like, "Whoa!"
Yeah.
I know
what you're talking
like
about.
that does not translate into live action, which is why I personally think it doesn't work.
Okay, so why don't you think that like people that watch...
see, Death Note worked out really well because Death Note didn't have any of that, so that's why that movie was chosen to be,
Oh, did you watch it?
Yeah, I did, actually.
What did you think about it?
It was definitely mediocre.
So even you don't think it was that good?
Yeah, but it was definitely the best film of that type to come out in a very long time.
Okay, so yeah, I guess I don't understand really why people that watch American anime or American cartoons, like, why don't those kind of people like anime? Because isn't it in the same ballpark? Like, is there a difference, or is it just like the fact that it's
in my
anime?
mind there is no difference whatsoever? I'm the wrong person to ask about that because I watch cartoons and anime. I think they're very similar.
Because you look at something like Yu-Gi-Oh, right, or Pokemon, right, and those are just anime that have been dubbed over into our language.
Yeah.
So you'd think that, like, somewhere along the line, like, people that watch this stuff would then go on and watch anime, right?
You'd think that, but I mean that's not necessarily true.
I wonder why that is. Because wouldn't people realize that there's a lot more of the content that they like, especially if they're kids? Because it seems like anime is really targeted towards kids for some reason.
Well, I think the anime you're thinking of there's a lot of different types. It's like anime is a lot like TV. There's something out there for everybody.
Well, yeah, because anime is like its own. Like, anime is a genre, but there's so many subgenres. It's like TV, where it's like so many different things.
Yeah, it can turn into its own thing very quickly.
Yeah, but see, Netflix is making anime and stuff like that. I think it's working out, right?
Well, Netflix they do take some anime, like Castlevania, that one that you're looking at right now.
Yeah.
That is an American-made anime, and a lot of people think that it is classified as an anime. But there was an argument that I saw online that says should it or should it not be because it's an American-made thing. And the consensus was that it should be because it looks like an anime and it has the same choreography and art style.
Sounds like an anime.
Yeah.
Looks like an anime.
It must be.
An anime.
But
an American cartoon.
Yeah. So the thing is, you've seen Avatar, right? Avatar: The Last Airbender, Legend of Korra. That has a similar problem because it has the same kind of art style. So it's all up to the person who watches to determine whether something is anime or not, in quotations.
I guess, I don't know, anime is weird, but I guess that's just me saying it because I don't really know everything about it, but...
Oh no, it's weird.
I mean...
I don't know everything about it, but it's weird.
I wonder if people... I always like to think that, we think a lot of things are weird. So does that mean that like people in Japan think a lot of the stuff we like is weird?
I can only imagine that they would.
Like, imagine some Chinese person watching Riverdale. Like, that's got to look weird, right?
Yeah, speaking of that kind of...
Rest in peace, Luke Perry. Yep.
Speaking of that kind of... What is that called? Cultural differences?
Yeah. Cultural appropriation?
Okay. So, I mean, there's a lot of that in our world, though, so I don't know what to make of it.
Of that specifically?
Like... Yeah, I mean, because there's this example with Hamilton, the musical. That show here did really well, because, America. But it did go to other countries, and they did play there. Specifically, England is the one I'm thinking of. And it's actually really interesting because they thought very differently of the show, and parts that we didn't find very funny, they found very funny. And it's just like, I don't know. There's a lot of differences between everybody, even when they're similar like us in England.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Every part of the world's different, I guess. That's why I don't like when certain people say, "Oh, thank God you're in America," and you have all these freedoms.
Yeah, that does make me kind of mad.
It's like, well, yeah, but it's kind of limiting our knowledge. I feel like America is so encompassed in itself that we're like, we don't even know what is out there.
You know what's the best example of that?
What?
Every other country learns English.
Yeah.
But America doesn't learn any other secondary language at all.
That's why I think it's nice to grow up in Canada, right?
Yeah, because in Canada you would learn French, the native language, and English, which then you could use English to go anywhere and say anything.
Yeah.
And French would be useful in, places where they speak French, obviously, but...
And you hear certain things like, oh, there's so many Muslims now that the population's growing, like, exponentially better than ours, or Mexicans or whatever. And then it's like, well, yeah, but we're not learning the language. You say we need to be, but we're not. We're not.
Yeah, it's not a requirement in most schools.
Yeah.
And even if it is a requirement, just because they took 2 years of Spanish doesn't mean that they know Spanish. Like, if they wanted to change the culture as a whole, they would have to encompass it more in those early grades, because we all know that you learn your language best when you're a kid, because it's just more natural that way.
And just like with our school, because it's small, it's like, well, yeah, we can fix these problems, but it's going to take years and years. And the generation, it's kind of like if you have a generation that you don't really care about, they're kind of screwed. Because it's like they just go through and they don't know as much as the one before or the one after. That's why I like watching these kind of shows. Like this one's called The 80s, and it's the documentaries that CNN puts together, and it's about every generational gap or every set. So they've made I think they made 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, and then they made 2000s, and I've been watching them up to 2000s because I had been waiting for them to make it and then have it been released. And they finally released 2000s a couple weeks ago. And so when I go to Hawaii, I always have something to watch. There's always a new project that I'm working on, finishing, TV show wise. So this time it's the 2000s because I think it's so cool. Because it's especially because we grew up in the 2000s. A lot of our earliest childhood is what was going on. But I also think it's nice to go back, the 90s. There's an episode about Bill Gates and specifically the rise of computers and how Apple kind of just took over the whole market after Bill Gates had developed this program for computers to run off of, and he was the biggest deal until Apple took over, kind of, or at least until Steve Jobs had his big ideas. I don't know. I've been getting more into documentaries lately.
I mean, that's pretty good. I feel like people who watch documentaries do have an edge up on everybody else.
Or at least they think they do. I mean, I can certainly think of people that they watch these different things and they think they have a knowledge base that's just supreme to everybody else's because they have watched this kind of stuff. I mean, a documentary that's coming out that I kind of I really want to watch it, but I just feel bad about watching it is Leaving Neverland. Do you know anything about that? Mm-mm. Okay, so Leaving Neverland is a documentary about Neverland Ranch, and specifically the abuse allegations that are against Michael Jackson. Mm-hmm. And I don't know how to feel about it. Because on one hand, it's well, yes, a lot of fingers are pointing towards Michael Jackson doing these things to children. But the other hand is that why should we continue to go against this person that's like dead? Like he can't defend himself. And the person that made the documentary said that, yeah, he does kind of get to defend himself because we interviewed all of his attorneys and lawyers and fans of Michael Jackson and like his family and all those kind of people. We asked them all the questions, and we got their side of it. But I don't know. I don't know how to feel about that.
I don't know. I definitely feel like, I feel like it's definitely a case of he's dead. They should kind of not get over it, but like, what's it going to change at this point? But...
Yeah, because that's what they were saying is that they want, because the documentary, I guess, like the excuse to targeting Michael Jackson specifically is that they have the two guys and that allegedly got abused by Michael Jackson, and they're telling their story so that way people can be more aware of this abuse kind of stuff. Especially coming from a guy like Michael Jackson, who was like almost alien to the rest of humanity, of how popular he was and his music and everything else. But I don't know. I just feel sad. I wish it wasn't true, but a part of me like kind of knows it has to be. But I don't know. It's the same thing about O.J. Simpson and all those other people. Like it's all.
Oh, who was that guy that just had that situation?
Kelly.
Yeah.
R. Kelly.
R. Kelly.
Yeah, that was. Did you see the video on that?
Yes.
Because I showed you Philip DeFranco and you've been watching it since, and he did the take about how R. Kelly like cried during his interview.
God, he cried. He stood up. He yelled.
Listen, that's a whole topic about how, like, it started really in 2016, like late 2016, but we started getting all this stuff about Harvey Weinstein and different all these abusers and all these different stuff. It's crazy, like the world we live in now, the time that we share. What are you doing? You checking your phone?
Yeah.
You texting? Okay, I'll take over the podcast for a second. Okay, so since we have a bad host over here,
hey man, you're the one over here checking your laptop. Like, come on.
Yeah, but I'm just keeping myself busy. Like I'm not looking at this clock that says 32 minutes and something seconds. Like I could probably get rid of it, but do I want to? No, because I like checking the levels of the podcast. In fact, there we go. Now you can't even see it. Now it says samples. What time are we at, Lucas? Do you know? You know what time we're at?
What time we're at?
Right, it's not important.
It's probably like 33, but
yeah. Anyway, I guess I'll wait for you to be done, Lucas. You want dead air right now? I'll give you some dead air. Lucas, I'll give you some dead air right now.
You don't have to wait for me to be done. Just go.
Okay, but anyway, so yeah, the world's kind of crazy, right? Because we live in the world of if somebody doesn't like you, especially if you hold power, somebody can say something against you, like give you an allegation or something, that would just ruin your career. It's kind of like how Kevin Spacey, the weird part is that culturally you're not supposed to talk about these kind of things. Like if we did have a mass following, we shouldn't be talking about this because we're supposed to agree with every person that comes out with an allegation.
But we don't, and that's why we're saying this.
Well, I don't want to jump into that, but I'm just saying that, like Kevin Spacey, he had a career of over 50 or 40 years or something like that. And he had a person, and this is ironic to me because I love Star Trek, and someone from Star Trek Discovery is the guy who, finally called him out. But apparently, this guy from Star Trek Discovery, when he was, 18 or below 18 or something, was at a party, and Kevin Spacey sexually harassed him. And to me, it's just okay, but, the timing was just weird for me. Because this guy, goes so many years without saying anything against Kevin Spacey. Meanwhile, Kevin Spacey has this great career, and the second this Star Trek Discovery guy gets the role and he goes into a more financial seat of power, then he opens up about this case. But it just seems like did he only do it because he knew he'd finally have a voice, or why wait so long? I don't know.
I don't know. That's a good question. Especially because.
Oh, you want to join now? I was having fun by myself. I was actually thinking about deleting your character on the picture and just having.
Oh, that's some communist.
People could be like, stuff. "Who's that guy?" And I could be like, "I don't know. He doesn't really."
That's some communist stuff right there. Okay.
Okay.
You gonna be a communist right now?
Take over. I'm gonna take my drink now.
Well, I can't talk for I don't know. Anyway,
I'm gonna text my friend.
I don't know. I feel like it's definitely a point of interest that he waited that long. Maybe he wanted a voice, or maybe he wanted to do it at a point when he knew it would hurt the most. Who can really say?
Who's to say? Yeah, I think that to me, that's it's just weird. People do this dumb thing where they wait. Like, if it happened, like, I'm not gonna say if it happened to me, because that's a stupid statement. Obviously, some of this stuff is 100% real and it affected them. But it's just like, you know, if this happened, wouldn't you want to immediately say something, or I don't know. That's just, I guess the thing is, like, how can you say something if you don't have a voice? But
I guess, I mean, it's something we're probably gonna wonder about for a while. So
I mean, Michael Jackson's dead, and it's just, what's funny?
It's not fair. You can't do that.
I'm not even gonna say what I showed Lucas, but anyway, Michael Jackson's dead, and that's not funny. Lucas, that's not funny.
It's just the way you phrased it. Like, anyway, I'm not gonna show you what I showed Lucas, but anyway, Michael Jackson's dead, right?
Okay.
Or is he dead?
Okay, Lucas. If I could just leave right now, I would. I would stop this podcast and I would let you edit it, but I know you don't know how, and I know it would be hard, so I'm not. I'm just gonna refrain. I'm gonna stop. But Michael Jackson's dead, okay? And these people, like, they just kind of attack him. I just don't understand. Like, even if it happened, I just don't understand.
Man, people can hate. That's for sure. That's for sure.
I want it to not be true. But it's just hard, I guess, to believe that. Especially because, like, you can't say that Michael Jackson's isn't true, but, like, Bill Cosby's is. Because, like, they both had obviously Bill Cosby had so many more allegations, but Michael Jackson had a lot too. So it's just like, you can't pick and choose which one you're going to believe based on how much you like them. And Michael Jackson was one of the most beloved people of all time, so I don't know. Makes me sad, but I do want to see the documentary. I mean, if there's another documentary that I would recommend, it's the Fire Festival one. Did you hear about that?
Mm-mm.
So Fire Festival was this island that was supposed to... I mean, it's a big meme right now, but, I mean, these kind of things are. Fire Festival was this, like, big staged party, and where all these, like, models would be, like, on this island, and it'd be worth like hundreds of thousands of dollars, and all these, like, people would be there, like, that would be doing concerts and all these bands and such, and, like, the richest people could pay to fly out on, like, privately to this island, and you would just be hanging out for like a week, and you'd be in this like extra extravagant hotel and like condos and stuff like that, and you'd just be hanging out with all these other rich people and gorgeous girls and such, and yeah, you'd just be hanging out with everybody, and it was supposed to be this big deal, but then it all fell through because the people that did it, like, something went wrong and they didn't do it correctly, or the main guy was the scam artist. So Fire Festival completely got just abandoned, and people probably lost a bunch of money. I know the main guy lost almost everything because he basically scammed all these rich people, and all these models were promoting it too. And the big thing was that Netflix released their documentary. No, I think what ended up happening was Netflix and Hulu announced their documentaries at around the same time, and Hulu had their release date and they announced it, and the day or a couple days before, Netflix just dropped theirs because it was ready to go, and so they beat Hulu to the punch. But Hulu has their documentary come out about the same topic, but the upside to theirs is they have the main guy. And what the part that I don't like is that the main guy, basically, he didn't want to talk to anybody, but he found out that Netflix and Hulu were having like a bidding war, essentially, to who was going to get what sources for the interview. So he basically put himself on the market as, hey, who wants to pay me more money to get my interview about this disaster that I caused? It was just, that was crazy.
That's genius.
Well, it's evil genius, I guess. I mean, this guy...
I mean, morality does not concern the genius of that. Like, wow.
He did some bad things.
Like, if he planned that from the beginning, like, that's props to him.
I mean, yeah, because he had other business ventures where they kind of failed, but like people got something out of it. Like, he made a credit card where it like gave you like 2% back, like most credit cards do now, but it was like special at the time because it gave you like special access to clubs and something that the company made. But that like fell through too. But a lot of people still liked him for it, and he made like millions of dollars. So
That's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I think that we should definitely cover something. Like I was talking about it last time, like what we want to do. I think we should pick something right now, and then next week when we do something, let's just talk. Let's have that as a topic, because like we had something to go off of this time, which was Captain Marvel. So,
right. So what are we watching?
well, I'll let you I'll let you pick. All right, I'll let you pick between 3 episodes of a TV show, and we'll go from there, or we'll do a movie. First of all, which one do you pick? What do you think?
I mean, I have a movie in mind if you're down.
Okay, so we're going movies. What's your thought?
I thought it would be interesting to watch To the Bone, that Netflix original.
I mean, I've seen it, but sure, I'll watch it again.
I have not seen it.
It kind of makes me sad because I used to be skinny and I don't like thinking about it. But
I have.
I mean, I was never to the bone skinny, but I was still skinny anyway.
But yeah, if you want to watch that, I'd be down. I've been meaning to watch it for a while, so it'd be good to have like a good concrete reason to.
Okay, so To the Bone's on the table.
Let's just.
How about we each put a suggestion up and then we pick the best one. So yours versus mine.
Okay.
Okay, so we got To the Bone for you, and then let me figure out a movie real quick because I was thinking, or
you can do a TV show.
Well, yeah. Well, that was my question. Which one would you rather do? Like you personally.
I personally think we could alternate. It doesn't matter.
Well, because if we do a TV show, then what I would want to do is either watch 2 or 3 episodes at a time, and then when we talk, like we just make notes or review and just talk about what we saw and like what we liked and stuff like that, and we can go through like the whole show that way, like every week cover certain episodes.
We could do that every once in a while, but I feel like we should start with the movie.
Okay, so your pick is To the Bone?
Yeah.
Okay, my pick is The Theory of Everything.
The one about
Stephen Hawking. God rest his soul that went to hell.
Yikes. Intense, but true.
God. Get it? But The Theory of Everything, I've been meaning to watch that like for years because like it looks so interesting. It came out in 2014.
Yeah, it just went to Netflix a while ago.
Yeah, like last month.
Yeah.
And it stars the guy who plays Newt Scamander in the new Harry Potter movies, Fantastic Beasts movies. And I mean, apparently this was like his breakout role that really got him into to be able to play the role of Newt Scamander. So, I mean, that's kind of interesting. So, I don't know. So those are our 2 options. What's your vote?
I mean, Theory of Everything is definitely interesting.
Because listen, I'll tell you right now. Let's do both of them, but we'll do one. We'll do one for the Hawaii cast, and we'll do the other one for the cast when we come back. Because I think that's how it lines up. I'm gonna look actually at the calendar. I'll pull it up on my Mac and see. Because I believe next week, because we're recording this on a Tuesday, but I'm gonna upload it still on Saturday because I want to make these Saturday uploads. So that means that next week we'll probably record on either Monday or Tuesday again, and I'll upload it that Saturday. And then, yeah, I'll be back in time to record. So essentially, which one do you want to talk about sitting here? Do you want to talk about Theory of Everything sitting here, or do you want to talk about To the Bone?
I mean, you've seen To the Bone. Like, what do you... Like, is it a good movie? Is there a lot there to talk about?
I think that there's a lot of themes and ideas to wrestle with. I would
rather do...
In terms of spectacle-wise, Theory of Everything will probably have more stuff. Like, stuff that you can, like, visualize and be like, hey, that's cool. Like, what I saw in the movie.
Well, I mean...
Because I can tell you right now, To the Bone has a lot of stuff that maybe you don't necessarily look at and you're like, oh, that was a cool scene. It's kind of like, oh, I understand why that happened and what that means. And I think more of a deep analytical look at it, like, for us to take notes and everything. I think... the cast when we come back here would probably be best, because the other one we're going to be talking about it like over the phone. Like I'm going to be recording on this Mac, which I think the recorder will sound, obviously it's going to sound less than this, but I think that it'll still sound decent, and then I'll have my phone with your audio coming through like close to that.
Okay.
So I think that would be better. I think if we do...
Yeah, we should definitely do a less serious movie over the phone then. So.
Well, if we... Okay, well, hold on. Let me take it back for a second. Because if we do less serious, then maybe we don't even do Theory of Everything. Because that's still going to be like something.
So what if we did...
I still want to do something that we both haven't seen. Black Panther? You want to do Black Panther? I understand. I get. Lucas just did something. Okay, I'm not gonna we can't do that, Lucas. Nobody saw that. We don't have we have mics. We don't have cameras yet. Actually, to be fair, we do, but I'm not gonna turn that on yet. You wanna do Black Panther? I mean, we both see it. Oh, how about we do this Mowgli movie?
I know nothing about it, so let's do it. Sure.
All right. So next week we're gonna watch Mowgli: Legend of the Jungle. So next Tuesday, the Hawaii cast. I'll call you, make some notes when you watch the movie, or just have it in your head, just some stuff to talk about, and we'll talk about it.
Okay.
All right, guys. I guess that's it, right?
Yeah, I got nothing. I've had nothing for the past 30 minutes, to be honest.
Well, I know you've been texting your friend this whole time, so. Listen, I thought we were friends. I thought when we went into this hosting thing, it was gonna be all cool and whatever. I didn't understand that I was second rate to whoever was on my phone at the time. Ooh, I'm Lucas. Look at my phone. I get text messages. Anyway, guys. This is a kind of embarrassing. I didn't think I'd be fighting on the podcast. I'm not going to edit this out.
It's the second episode.
Anyway, guys. Yeah, I think I'll see you next time. I'll see you next time. Not us. I'll just see you next time. I think that we'll try to shoot between 40 and an hour between these episodes. Unless we have an anniversary or something, then we make it longer. But, yeah, I think that's pretty much it. See you guys later.
See ya.